Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Today we're talking about the SHGET Modi 3 Plus and the Sankrit 10th Mark II from SMSL. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you know when all my videos go up, and like the video if you like it. So grab a beverage, sit down, and let's talk about the SMSL Sankrit 10th Mark II. The great name. And the SHGET Modi. Today's sponsor is ASMAC.org. That's the Audiophile Certification, wait a minute, I messed it up. Audiophile Standards Measurement and Certification Committee, ASMAC.org. It lets you know all the products that are audiophile certified and tells you a little bit about the organization and who started it and everything. All right, so the Sankrit and the Modi, they are both DACs, which is a digital to analog converter. Most products already have a DAC in there. Most receivers will have a DAC in there. So the question is, should I upgrade my DAC for $100 or $140, and will it make a difference? Short answer is yes. These DACs will be better than the DAC in your receiver, unless it's a very high-end receiver, probably. But these DACs are going to be better than your receiver, going to be better than most integrated amps if the integrated amps are $500 or less, and they're going to be better, much better than products that are like $100. So I'm just going to cat out of the bag. This will go really well with that Sony 2-channel DH 1900 or 190 or something like that. This will go really well with that, okay? This will go well with pretty much anything. So when I'm really trying to hear the differences in DACs, because they can be hard to hear a difference when you're listening through speakers. So I use headphones, and I like to use a few different headphones so that I can get an idea of how this DAC is going to interact with speakers and headphones in general. So the first headphone I use is the Meze 99 Classic. It's a beautiful headphone. Fits my head very nicely. It sounds weird when I talk and I have them on. Sounds very, yeah. I don't think I could do a whole video like that. Anyway, these are a bit warm sounding, so they're not hyper detailed on the top end. Doesn't mean they don't sound good. Frankly, these are one of my favorite headphones because you can listen to them all day long. And detail does come out, but it's just buttery. These are a buttery headphone, okay? So these are my warm headphones. Then I use what I would consider a neutral headphone. These are the Emotiva. These are open back, so I can talk and it doesn't sound quite as weird, but it still sounds weird. The Emotiva, and they only have one headphone, so it's the Emotiva headphone. More neutral, good bass, doesn't lean warm, but not hyper detailed. Okay, so sorry. Then the last one is the Monolith M570. And there's a bunch of headphones out there that use this driver, but see, I can hear myself very well through these. Monolith M570, much more detailed headphone than the than the Emotiva, and much more detailed than the Meze 99. So when I'm trying different DACs on these headphones and I hear the differences and I hear that they may be taking on a different characteristic from what they normally are when I listen to them through other things, then I kind of know exactly what the DAC is doing and how it's going to affect not only headphones, but speakers that share a similar sound characteristic to the headphones. And these headphones is a good representation of a warm speaker, a neutral speaker, and a lively speaker. The SHGET Modi, I don't know, it's like the Modi 3 Plus, whatever. Whatever the Modi is when you go to the SHGET website, this is it, okay? So it's very simple. On the back, you have RCA outs, so right and left, a digital coaxial in, a digital optical in, and a digital USB in the form of a micro USB. And I don't know why people get upset about micro USB. I've used it without issues for the entirety of my adulthood since micro USBs have been around. I know everybody likes USB-C, but okay, it's micro USB. And then next to it, there's a micro USB power plug. You can actually get one of those fancy 5-volt lower noise switching power adapters and use it on this if you want to. And then on the front, there's a 3-position toggle switch. Oh yeah. Yep. A 3-position toggle switch to switch between the inputs, which are digital optical, digital coax, or USB. And that's pretty much it. There's no on-off switch or anything. I like it. I like it a lot. So it comes in silver or black. I dig the black because I think it's pretty good. This is the second time I've actually had this product. I owned it, and I had a little headphone rig with that and the Magni and the Loki. And so I had that little rig. It was on my desk, and I really enjoyed it. And for whatever reason, I decided to sell it and get a different headphone amp, and it sold within about 5 minutes because obviously everybody likes the SHGET. The SMSL Sankrit 10th Mark II, great name, has the exact same inputs on the back. So there's an RCA out, coax in, optical in, micro USB in, and then a power in. So you can actually power this off of like a laptop or a computer or what have you, or you can run separate power as well. Both the Modi and the Sankrit use AKM chips, AK4493 for the Sankrit and the AK4490 for the Modi. The biggest difference in functionality is that the Sankrit has a remote, and you can change inputs on the remote, and you can change the volume on the remote. The Modi does not have a remote, so it's a fixed output. You're going to have to control volume on something else, like your headphone amp or a preamp. How do they sound? Well, they both sound very good, but they do sound different. The Sankrit definitely has more emphasis on the upper mid-range and into the top end. And when I say emphasis, I just mean it's kind of put on display. And with the wrong equipment or the wrong headphones or the wrong speakers, it can sound harsh, and it can have a bit of a digital sheen to it. Now, with that said, only the most revealing of electronics, headphones, speakers are going to give you that. Otherwise, it's just going to sound very detailed. As far as the low end, the bottom, the bass, it doesn't feel like it's as emphasized as the top end. But even with the Sankrit being a little bit shinier on top and quite frankly harsh on top with some products, it's going to be a very good DAC to mate up with warmer headphones like the Meze 99 Classic. It's going to bring a little bit of excitement to the Meze 99 Classics. But there's amps out there like the Cambridge AXA 25 and 35, the Denon PMA 600NE, and I assume the 800NE, although I've never heard the 800NE. So warmer electronics are going to benefit from the SMSL Sankrit 10th Mark II. Speakers that lean a little bit warm, like the Wharfedale 11.2s. Wharfedale 12.2s are more neutral, but if you want a little bit more excitement on top, then the SMSL would do it for you. Mica RB42s would benefit from the Sankrit as well. Numi BS5s and ELAC Debut B6s all would be a very good combination with the Sankrit. The Modi uses the 4490 chip, and however they implemented it, it does not sound harsh, really at all. It's very balanced throughout the entirety of the frequency range, and it gives a very good sense of heft and weight and bass punch and a lot of excitement on top without being harsh or digital at all. I didn't notice any of the headphones that I use the Modi with. I did not sense any type of sheen or that this wasn't a good match at all. As you went warmer in the headphones, there was just a little bit less detail. But as the detail went up on the 570s, it was very detailed, but yet not harsh at all. So lots of detail if you want it through the Modi. The Modi's going to go with everything, pretty much. And depending upon the rest of your system, it's going to either be more detailed. It's not, the Modi isn't like adding anything. The Modi is just giving you a very nice, clean buffet of music with everything in there. That was a really horrible analogy. The Modi's just good. It's full, it's got great mids, doesn't feel like it's up or down, and the top end is detailed without seeming harsh or digitally at all. It's just a great DAC, and at $99, it's a no-brainer recommendation. It's fantastic. And frankly, I think it sounds very similar to products like the Topping EX5, the Sonkaz LXDA something something. It's their balance DAC. It sounds very similar to the SMSL SU8S as well. Just a very well balanced DAC that has a lot of detail, but not too much detail, or nor does it sound harsh or digitally. I know I keep saying that, don't I? The one drawback from the Modi is that there's no remote, no variable output. So if you are putting this in your system and it's outside of a headphone or desktop solution, and you want to be able to control the volume, you're going to have to do it through either an amp or a preamp. With the Sankrit at $140 and the Modi still at $99, and I think SHGET deserves a lot of praise because they've kept the Modi at the same price for a long time. It's a fantastic product. It is, I think, really, someone really has to step up, because I still don't hear a ton of difference between the Modi and the SMSL SU8S, the Topping EX5, the Sonkaz. From a sonic standpoint, yes, there's variable outputs, different roll-offs, maybe Bluetooth, balanced outputs, things like that, that you're not getting from the Modi. But from a sonic perspective, they sound very similar to me. And comparing the Modi to the Bifrost is much fuller on the bottom. I think it gives a little bit bigger sense of space maybe than the Modi, but the Modi is not embarrassed by the Bifrost at all. And it's something to be said that a $99 DAC can not be embarrassed amongst, you know, a $700 DAC in the same family. I haven't heard the multi-bit version of the Modi, and I would love to, but they're pretty backed up and they have a long lead time on the multi-bit, but the Modi's pretty awesome. The Sankrit is also good, but I think one needs to be more aware of what they're putting together with it, because a lot of the Class D stuff out there, especially the products that have the Infineon 12070 chip, if you're not EQing that amp, it's going to be very harsh with the Sankrit. Speakers like the Sony SSCS5, the JBL Stage A130s can get real harsh real quick if you put the Sankrit on a regular Class D if you're not EQing it. One of the best Class Ds that's going to go very well with the Sankrit is the IEMA A07. It is a much fuller amplifier, and while that amp doesn't have a remote, the Sankrit has a remote. So those two products together actually is a very good combination, because you get the volume control with the Sankrit and you get the fullness with the IEMA. Those two will complement each other very well, like peanut butter and jelly, peas and carrots, marshmallows and red wine. I think they're both great products. I think the Modi sounds better and is going to be the better product in most applications. However, if you need variable output and you need a remote, you're just not going to get it with the Modi. But there's other products out there that have a remote that you could use to control it from the comfort of your own couch. With the Sankrit, just be careful what you're pairing it up with. It can be great, but if you have too revealing of a system, you are going to hear digital sheen. And that can be, you could put harshness on top of harshness on top of harshness, and it be a little bit too much on the top end, not enough on the bottom end. So if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms. You can also sign up for Amazon Music. Click on the link, sign up. You get 3 months for free. I think you get 3 months of Disney Plus for free. And I also have a bunch of test track playlists and other playlists linked in the description. You can also use the links to purchase the products, although I do not have an affiliate link with the Modi or with SHGET. So if you buy that, I don't get anything. Although if they're on Amazon, I will get something. So I'll see if they're linked on Amazon. If not, don't worry about it. Just get the Modi. It sounds great. Sankrit, though, that will be an affiliate link. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen through your Sankrit 10th Mark II or your SHGET Modi and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.